Right, the summer holiday season is certainly in full swing, and if you're looking for a beach book, well, we may have the answers. We're taking a look at some of the hottest summer reads. Yes, once again, it's time for...
We're all going on a summer holiday. No
5-page turners. Oh, it's a cracking one, Liz.
left her on a summer holiday.
Now, this week's summer beach read is by Sharon Griffiths. It's called The Accidental Time Traveller, and it tells the story of Rosie Harford, who, after a blazing row with her man, arrives at her next reporting assignment, an interview at her local housing estate that's being used as part of a TV reality show set in the 1950s. Suddenly, she finds herself transported back in time, and at first assumes she's becoming an unsuspecting part of the show. Then goes on to realise she's actually travelled back in time to the 1950s. So that got us thinking, would it be good to time travel? And is there anywhere that you'd like to go?
Oh, I'd love to go to the future, wouldn't you? Oh, just the thought of how exciting. Do you know, I'll just tell you something now. There are... No, I haven't been yet, but I'm building a time machine. No, the thing is, do you know that we're all losing our little toes? Did you know that? No, it's true. Have a look the next time you look. And I think bits of us are dropping off. Yeah, so
You were dropping off.
Well, in the future...
Leaking out of an ear, maybe.
Well, we'll have all morphed into one. A man and woman will be the same. Pigs and cows, horses and goats will all morph into one. And bits of us will have dropped off, bits that we don't need anymore. So, well, all sorts, like your toes, your ears, all sorts of things we don't use. And therefore, I'd like to go to the future. You won't in the future because you'll have something else that does it for you.
Why do you want to go into the future and see that?
Yeah, because I want to see what happens. And the car, we won't have such things as cars because we'll go through the sky. We won't need cars and
You've
things.
been watching too much Tomorrow's World.
I know, and I believe it all. I just think it's... Don't you think it's exciting where we're going? If you think where we've been, where in the last 50 years, where are we now? Where will we be in 100 years' time?
Well, I mean, I can kind of see your point, apart from, you know, the toes dropping off and that sort of thing. Being nice. But, you know, that's obviously way, way, way in the future of Sherryland. Would you like to see what's in the near future of the world of Sherry?
Oh,
Personal.
no, well, I have to say, I don't really want to see... Do you mean in 20, 40
that sort
years?
of thing. Yeah.
No, I think that would be a bit scary because...
As opposed to now, it's
Yes,
not scary at
no,
all.
it's not scary at all.
No.
But in 40 years' time, I might be a bit scary then.
Oh, see, I'd like to see... I don't want to see...
You'll be very scary.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
4 minutes time, actually. I actually am the opposite. I don't want to see what happens to the planet and the world in the future because that feels out of my control, so I don't want to see that. But I would like to see what happens to me in the future, so that when I came back, if it was something bad, I could maybe change my fate.
Ah.
Right.
So if I went 5 years ahead and, for instance, I don't know, me and Ray had split up or something, I could come back and go, it's not working, love. There's no point in wasting the next 5 years.
But do you know what? Yeah, I think it might be. I've just thought of something. It might be a good thing to go 100 years into the future and see what's happened to the planet, because then if everything's okay and it's all still the same, then we can turn around to all these people who tell us that we're doomed and we're all dying and they're taxing us out of existence because of, you know, global warming or whatever it is, and it's not going to happen. We can just come back and say, ha ha, you're lying.
And
Stop
Carol,
trying to rip me off.
And they'll say, oh, I
Brilliant.
see, you've travelled into the future. Okay.
We'll be living on all sorts of planets. We won't just be living on this planet.
Can I just bring it back a little bit and go in the opposite direction? Would you ever like to travel into the past at all?
Oh, yes. Definitely. First of all, I'd go back to the early 90s and I'd buy all those houses that I said I was going to buy that I didn't buy. Because now I'd be like a multi-millionaire, which I'm not. No, I don't know. I think I wouldn't like to go anywhere in this century. I think I would, or the last century even. I think I would probably go back to, you know, Roman times, when everyone walked around in togas and ate too much and had giant orgies and things like that. I think that would have been a really...
Did you get blamed for it or named
No,
for it? Yeah.
just, you know, just had a great time.
Now.
No, I don't.
Yeah, but you have to think, Carol, there wouldn't be a dentist. You have to think about that. There wouldn't be a dentist. You'd have no teeth.
Well, you would though. I'm sure they had dentists. They had underfloor
They
heating.
did have
They
teeth.
must have had dentists.
No, they wouldn't have dentists.
I'd like
Do you know, I've never seen that link before, Carol, but you could have something there.
I'd like to go back, not as far as that, I'd like to go to like the 40s and 50s era, just because I loved the
Okay.
fashion and I loved the fact that women were very feminine and, you know, I loved the pencil skirts and the little bobby skirts and things like that. in the
I'd
50s
always
and the
kind of-
music I loved in the 40s.
I'd always sort of thought that. I know what you mean, that sort of neatness. Now I think I'm gradually changing as the years go on, and I think I'd like to go back to the 60s and just sort of drop out
You
for a
could
little bit.
liberate yourself.
Yeah, I do need a little bit of liberation. I could.
I tell you where else would be good to go back to. I've decided. I'd go way back and I'd like to be Eve.
Eve?
Well, I tell you why. Because A, he'd have no one to compare me to.
Yes.
And B, if he didn't like it, I'm the only one he's going to get it with. I like that idea.
Not tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, I'd like to be that mistress woman. You know, the mistress of, you know, what's his name? Prince Regent. I'd like to be her. You know, what's her name? That mistress, oh, you know, she lived in that house well, she didn't live there. He took her there. No. And they had sex there all the time, and and his wife didn't know what she would, because she'd be a mistress. That's why. What's her name? You know, she was...
Old Flanders.
No, that's the one with the big bazooka. Lily Langtry. Yeah, you see, I'd like to be mistress. Or Elizabeth I. Oh, there she is. Look.
Oh, yeah?
Well, Sherry, can I just... You'd be a rubbish mistress because you don't like sex.
No, I do, but I just don't do it.
In a
anymore.
Case in point. Okay, join